Hey everyone, welcome to Hail. So quick introduction, if this is your first time on this channel, I just said welcome to Hail. I talk all things movies. If you're interested in that, hit the subscribe button to get all things movies. I'm gonna move back here to my computer and also so I'm not so close to you guys. We're here. Okay, so today's video is gonna be super cool. What I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to be tier ranking every foreign language film that I've ever seen. This is as of June 22nd, 2020. I've seen a total of 33 foreign films. The reason I want to make this video now is because I'm watching so many that I really want to see how my perspective changes through the next few months and even through the upcoming years. What I feel about these movies right now, how I feel about them in the future, all that fun stuff. Let's get you in a little closer. Nah, let's not do that. All right, so I'm gonna start sharing my screen right now. I have seen 33 foreign language films. The reason I decided to make this video right now is because I know I'm going to be seeing a lot of foreign language films in the future, but I feel like right now would be a good time to kind of see what my thoughts are at this time in my life. And it'll also just be kind of cool to see what I think of these movies in the future, as well as how much my opinion changes and what more movies I see in the future. If you haven't seen my tier rankings before, Perfect is 10 out of 10 best movies there are. Nearly Perfect is kind of like the 8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10 movies. Great is 8 or 7 out of 10. Dece is 6 or 5 out of 10. Bad is anything below that. All right, let's do this. All right, first we've got 8.5, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love this movie as much as I wanted to. I had really high expectations and it just didn't deliver. I think it was a beautiful opening sequence, but I need to give it another try. I'm just gonna put it in Dece. Amor was the movie I watched for my Decade in Review series for 2012, and it was a good movie. It's just really sad. I liked it. I don't think I loved it though, so I'm gonna put it in Great. Beauty and the Beast. Now this movie is, no pun intended, beautiful. It's just so magical. It's like fantasy in every sense of the word. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I've only seen it once and I don't like have a huge urge to watch it again, but I do love it. I'm gonna put it in Nearly Perfect because maybe on a rewatch it'll make Perfect, but yeah, I do love that movie. Bicycle Thieves is a sad movie about a father and his son. The father's very poor and basically just has like really bad luck in this movie. It's been a few years since I've seen this movie, but I remember enjoying it. I'm gonna put it in Great. Black Girl is actually the most recent foreign language film I've seen. The other night, I was looking for a short movie that I could just quickly breeze through. It was like 11 o'clock at night, so I didn't want to watch anything too long. So I watched Black Girl because it's only an hour long, and you know, Black Girl is a very sad story, and it really shows like racism in the 60s, which is really sad. However, I just didn't think the acting was very good, and the filming felt very amateur to me in the way it was edited. I didn't really love it, and so I'm gonna put it in Dece because I didn't think it was bad by any means, but it just wasn't as good as I thought it would be. Oh, and supposedly I'm supposed to rank these movies on whatever tier level they're on. I haven't done that in the past, but I'm gonna do that now. So I think actually everything's the way I want it to be. I think I like them more than Bicycle Thieves, and 8.5 more than Black Girl. So we'll just leave it like that. And then we've got The Bridge. The Bridge is a movie I've only seen once, and it floored me. I absolutely loved it. In fact, if you watch my video of what criterions you should buy in this next Barnes & Noble sale, then I recommended The Bridge. Although I've only seen it one time, I loved it, and I think I'll love it through the years. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in Perfect. It's a good movie, really good movie. Then we've got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is actually the movie that I watched in my 24-hour movie marathon for the foreign language category. And oh man, this is actually really hard because I loved the martial arts in this film, but everything else to me was just kind of boring and I wasn't very invested in the story. Oh, I'm gonna put in Great. The martial arts was amazing. I'm just gonna put it at the bottom of the list. And then we've got Day for Night, which is a movie about making a movie. And it was actually my first Francois Truffaut film I've ever seen, and the only one I've seen. I haven't watched another one of his movies yet. For the high expectations I had, it didn't really deliver. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. I'm gonna put it in Dece, but I'm gonna put it at the top because I would say that I liked it more than 8.5 in Black Girl. Then we've got Diabolique. Now, Diabolique was the first foreign language film I ever watched all the way through, I believe. I actually watched it, and then I showed my sister it the very next day and watched it again. And then I watched it a few months later in college because they're showing it at this international cinema night on campus. Straight up, I love this movie. It's great, and I'm actually gonna put this in Perfect above The Bridge. Okay, and then we've got The Farewell, which is kind of like arguably a foreign language film. There's definitely English in it, but I believe it was nominated for foreign language film at the Golden Globes, maybe, and so I think it counts. And I really like The Farewell. It's a movie that, straight up, it gets Nearly Perfect. I don't think I like it more than Beauty and the Beast, but I really like The Farewell, and I've seen it twice, and I liked it even more the second time, honestly. All right, let's see what we have next. We've got Grave of the Fireflies. This movie is a freaking tearjerker. I watched this movie and I cried at the end. One of the 10 movies in my life. That sounds like a lot more than I thought. I cried in it. And yeah, it definitely wrecked me. I'm gonna put it in nearly perfect, but at the bottom. Only reason it doesn't get higher is because it's not very rewatchable. It's a very sad movie. I'm not dying to watch this movie again, but I can't deny that this is such a great film. Ooh, then we got The Hunt. The Hunt is a crazy movie. The Hunt is a really good movie about a man who is accused of something that he didn't do, and it's about a whole entire community just turning against him because of a false lie. There's another movie that I watched for the Decade in Review series. I'm really glad I checked it out. For now, I'm gonna put it at the top of great. Come on, there we go. Maybe on a rewatch, it will reach that nearly perfect tier, but for now, it's number 1 in great. Then we've got Akira, which I have talked about a lot on this channel, I feel. At this point, I've talked a lot about it. I love Akira. I've only seen it once. Need to see it again. At least as of June 22nd, I've only seen it once. I really need to see it again. It's just kind of a big commitment, but the one time that I watched it affected me enough to know that I love it. So I'm gonna put it in perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and put it at the bottom of the tier right now. All right, then we've got Untouchables, which is such a feel-good movie. If you guys have heard of that one movie that came out at the beginning of last year, The Upside. That movie is based on this foreign language film, The Untouchables, so I haven't even seen that remake, but I have seen this one, once again for Decade in Review, and I love this movie. I thought it was really good. I'm gonna put it in great right behind The Hunt. No. Oh, I really like this movie. I'm actually gonna put it in nearly perfect. It was a good movie. It was so fun. Okay, then we got Ivan's Childhood, which, fun fact, was the very first Andrei Tarkovsky film I ever saw. Andrei Tarkovsky? And I actually watched this one for international cinema on my campus. It's just like the same event that Diabolique was shown at, and I enjoyed it. It's like not an easy watch, but it's definitely easier to watch than Solaris. It not being an easy watch isn't a fault of the movie, by the way. I'm gonna put it behind Bicycle Thieves, but before Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Good movie. La Verite. So La Verite is directed by H.G. Clouseau, who directed Diabolique and a movie that we'll see later on this list, Wages of Fear. I really like this director. I've really fallen in love with his work, and so I had high expectations for La Verite. It didn't really meet my expectations. Just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, and how much I love Wages of Fear and Diabolique, it just didn't deliver as much as I wanted it to. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the Dece category, right behind Day for Night. All right, then we've got Life is Beautiful, which is such a great movie. I've only seen it once, but the way I describe this movie is a really weird way. I call it the happiest Holocaust film you'll ever see, which still doesn't mean it's a happy movie. It's just the happiest Holocaust film you'll ever see. Still a very sad movie, though. Okay, I'm gonna put Life is Beautiful right behind Beauty and the Beast for now. It's definitely nearly perfect. I think on a rewatch, it could make the perfect tier, but for now, great movie, definitely like a 9 out of 10. Mary and the Witch's Flower, another international cinema movie that I watched on campus, and it was a super weird movie. I'm just gonna put this at the bottom of Dece. If you haven't noticed, there's not really too many bad foreign language films I've seen. Like, I've pretty much liked all the ones I've seen. All right, guys, then we got Parasite, which exploded in 2019, and it's still the movie that everyone is talking about, and for good reason. And honestly, I love this movie. And it kicked Diabolique out for my favorite foreign film of all time. So yeah, it is up here at the very top, right? Sitting at number 1. It's perfect, for sure. And then we've got Passion of Joan of Arc, which is a movie that I actually saw for the first time recently. I had seen so many clips growing up, but had never seen the movie all the way through. And this movie was insane. I can't help but not recognize this as a perfect film. I'm gonna go ahead and put it at the bottom of the tier, but I think it definitely deserves to be in that perfect category. It's a very haunting film. The camera angles, the expressions on Joan's face, it's just a very haunting movie, but a classic nonetheless. Then we've got The Past, which is the first movie directed by Asghar Farhadi on this list. The Past just wasn't as good as his other movies that I've seen. It's definitely my least favorite of the movies he's made, but I still enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't bad. I'm gonna put it at the top of Dece. All right, and then we've got Ring-Yu, which honestly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Ring-Yu fans. I'm putting it in bad. I watched it. It was so cheesy. It was so dumb. And I'm a huge fan of the American remake. I grew up with the American remake, and so that might be a reason that my view on Ring-Yu is kind of tainted. And I know that sounds like so disappointing because, like, who likes the remake more than the original? I know, I'm crazy. But in this case, I honestly like The Ring more than Ring Yu. I just thought Ring Yu was really dumb. All right, then we've got Roma, the movie that a lot of people thought was going to win Best Picture in 2018, including myself. I'm fine with this movie. I don't love it. Honestly, it's like the definition of Dece. In all honesty, I wouldn't give it like a 6 out of 10, but I don't love it enough to put it in the great category, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in Dece right behind The Past. It's just one of those movies that I think is a beautiful film and great cinematography, like beautiful cinematography. But as far as the movie goes itself, I just wasn't very invested in it, and I didn't like it as much as I wanted to. And so, I'm sorry. Film's subjective, just remember that, please. Then we've got The Salesman, which is the next movie directed by Asghar Farhadi, and I love this film. It's actually, yeah, it's an amazing movie. I highly recommend you guys watch it. It won Best Foreign Language Film in 2016, I believe, and it was so good. I'm gonna put it right here, right behind Beauty and the Beast. And then we've got A Separation, which is a movie that I've recommended quite a few times on this channel. So if you haven't watched it by now, then you know what to watch next. I'm gonna put it behind The Bridge in Perfect. I think it definitely deserves a spot in Perfect. I love A Separation. And then we've got The Seventh Seal, which is kind of like 8.5, where I had high expectations for it, and unfortunately, I didn't love it. I knew about the iconic chess scene with Death. That was really the only scene that I appreciated. Everything else was just, I just didn't like it as much as I thought it would. So I'm gonna put it in Dece. Where I put it, that's a great question. I'll put it right above 8.5. Solaris. I really enjoyed Solaris. Honestly, like, this movie was insane. My friend Jackson calls it the Interstellar of the past, and I can see why it's compared to that. It has some Interstellar vibes for sure, but it definitely has some 2001 vibes as well. It's a great movie, and I like it more than Ivan's Childhood. I definitely think it belongs in Nearly Perfect. I'm gonna put it at the beginning of Nearly Perfect. So Umberto D is one of the first foreign films that I saw. I know I mentioned Diabolique, but Umberto D was one of the first ones I watched after Diabolique. It was just an enjoyable movie. It's a sad movie for sure, but I like it a lot. And that's another one that if you don't own it or haven't seen it, then I recommend you watch it. But this is a movie that I actually like really enjoy. I've only seen it once, and so I don't remember all of it, unfortunately, but I remember really liking it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in Nearly Perfect, right behind The Farewell. Then we've got Vampire, which is a really cool take on vampire films. It's a cool silent film. I definitely recognize it as a great movie though, and so that's where it's gonna go. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it, I'll put it at the bottom of great. The Vanishing. This movie's hard because it is seriously one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, when a movie is so disturbing that I don't even want to think about it, it accomplishes its purpose. And so for that, I want to recognize it as a top tier movie, but I don't like want to watch this movie again because it's just like so freaking disturbing. So I'm going to go ahead and put The Vanishing in Nearly Perfect, but at the very bottom, honestly. And the thing is, like, the movie isn't that disturbing, it's just the ending. And then we've got another H.D. Clouseau film, Wages of Fear. The Wages of Fear is a movie that I love. I've only seen it once, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's like literally on the borderline of Perfect and Nearly Perfect. I'm having kind of a hard time deciding where it should go. I think I do like it more than Passion of Joan of Arc. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it towards the bottom of Perfect. Yeah, good movie. Wild Strawberries was the first Ingmar Bergman film I ever watched. I haven't seen too many of his films. In fact, Wild Strawberries and The Seventh Seal are the only ones I've seen from him, but I really enjoyed Wild Strawberry. Just the whole narrative of an old man nearing the end of life and being afraid of death. The opening nightmare sequence is so cool to watch. Really, just all the nightmare sequences in this movie are very haunting, and I enjoyed that from this film. I don't know why I don't like 8.5 that much, because that has a lot of like dream sequences too, but just didn't work for me. Anyways, enough of 8.5. From what I remember, I really liked this movie, so I'm gonna put it at the top of Nearly Perfect. Wings of Desire was a movie that started, and I really liked the beginning of it, but as it progressed, I just started liking it less and less and less, and I can't really explain why. I just didn't like it. I don't know why. I wish I had a reason, but I didn't like it. So for that, I don't think it's a bad movie, because I think the idea of it is really cool, and I appreciate the movie, but I just didn't love it. So I am going to put it at the bottom of Dece. Thank you for watching this tier ranking video. If you want to watch another one, I have one right here. And if you want to watch another video pertaining to foreign language films, I have one right here. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let me know what your favorite foreign film is. See you later.